Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about black musicians in country music. As people know, country music is predominantly white musicians, but there have been quite a notable contribution by some black singers and pickers and musicians and talented people. So I want to make a video. I want to make a video about some of them. I'm going to start with the legend, Charley Pride. Charley Pride, man, you talk about a talented person. He was on his way as a pitcher in baseball to playing with Jackie Robinson, and who knows where could have gone from there. But because of an injury, he got sidelined, and he hurt his arm, and he just didn't have that mustard anymore. So he fell back on his plan B, which was becoming one of the greatest country musicians of all time. Charley Pride's hits, man, are Kiss an Angel Good Morning, Snakes Crawl at Night, Is Anybody Going to San Antone, which is my personal favorite, Crystal Chandeliers, Mississippi Cotton Pickin' Delta Town, Just Between You and Me, what else we got there? Oh, All I Had to Offer You Is Me, Wonder Could I Live Here Anymore, and I believe Charley Pride does the best version of Kalijah. That's my opinion. I like Charley Pride's version of Kalijah the best. He's a member of the Grand Ole Opry. He's a member of the Hall of Fame. He's still alive. He's still in Texas and everything. So the story goes that the record company purposely omitted his headshot from any of his albums because they wanted people to fall in love with his talent and his voice before they revealed that he was black. Charley Pride himself said that's not true. It was strictly a clerical error, and besides that, it didn't make any sense because Charley had been performing in venues in Montana and Texas and different places all around the country before he was ever a big star. You know, you got to kind of start small and then work up. I don't think you'd find anybody who's a true country music fan that would have a problem with putting Charley Pride in the top 10. And if they didn't make the top 10, it wasn't because he wasn't good enough or didn't chart enough. It was because there was 10 people who were just a little bit more deserving than him. There'd be a valid reason for it. Charley Pride's an absolute legend. One of the greatest, and I've never seen him live before. I'm not even sure if he's still touring. He's getting up there in age. I'm not even sure if he's still touring, but I'm going to try to catch him perform live one time. I think it'd be truly special. So, for my next person, I'm only going to touch on him for just a second. Ray Charles. Ray Charles is a monster. Everyone knows who Ray Charles is. He's a genius. He's a magnanimous, super duper star in the world of music. Piano player, singer. I believe he owns all his own music, which was really unheard of for the time. He had hits like "Georgia on My Mind," which is the official state song of Georgia. "Seven Spanish Angels," a tremendous duet he did with Willie Nelson. "Born to Lose," which is written by Don Gibson. And one of my personal favorite songs is "I Can't Stop Loving You," also written by Don Gibson. Now, I'm only going to touch on Ray Charles for just a second, not because he's not deserving, but there is volumes of tributes and information about Ray Charles. There's a movie about him, a feature full-length film about him. Great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. Jamie Foxx did a fantastic job. But another reason why I'm only going to spend a few minutes on Ray Charles is because he would meander from gospel to country to pop to countrypolitan, just kind of everywhere. He was so talented that he could walk into he could go into any genre and do very well. So for my number 3, my next person is going to be Stoney Edwards. Stoney Edwards, man, you talk about, the first time I heard Stoney Edwards, I was like, where has this guy been? I've been listening to country music since I was a kid, and this guy's fantastic. He reminds me of Daryl McCall, just kind of a regular Joe that decided to do country music. So the story of Stoney Edwards is this: he's from Oklahoma, and he was working at a steel mill, and he was driving a forklift, and he got trapped in a tank, this big giant humongous tank, and he suffered from carbon dioxide poisoning, and it put him in a coma. It put him in and out of a coma for over 2 years. When he finally got well enough to come out of the coma and start, being right again, he wasn't able to work at the steel mill. He just physically couldn't do the work. So he started picking and singing and everything. He absolutely refused to sue the steel mill, even though he definitely could have, and it would have been warranted, and it was a viable option for him. He also had so much pride in himself. He had so much pride that he refused to let his wife go on welfare. He wouldn't hear of it. So because he couldn't work, he couldn't contribute to the family, he had no money coming in, he decided to sneak out one night and leave his family so there would be one less mouth to feed. It was a matter of pride for Stoney Edwards. And on the way out, he stepped on a toy and it made a sound. And the toy woke up his daughter Janice. And she caught him or whatever, sneaking out. And that's the origin, or that's the story behind the song, $2 Toy. But he had hits, She's My Rock, which was covered by the great George Jones, one of my favorite songs. Hank and Lefty, Raise My Country Soul, an obvious homage to Hank Williams and Lefty Frizzell, which was, I think Mo Bandy does a really good job covering that song. His music has been covered by Brenda Lee. He has another song called Blackbird. It doesn't get a lot of radio play. It didn't get any radio play because it has the N-word in the song. The song was a positive song with a primarily good message, but because he uses the N-word in the song, they couldn't play it on the radio, obviously. But Stoney Edwards, man, so talented. I can't believe I never heard of this guy until 5 years ago. Great guy, or a great musician and everything. So that's Stoney Edwards. For the next person, it was a guy named O.B. McClinton. O.B. McClinton didn't have the success that anybody else had. He never charted any better than number 37. And his career ran from 1971 to 1988. But I just didn't want to leave him out because he was a black musician in country music. He charted in the top 50 and in the top 100, of course, but nothing better than 37. But I feel like he deserves a mention. I haven't heard any of his music yet. I learned about him while doing research for this video. I'm going to go listen to his music here in a minute. Maybe he's got a new fan out of me, hopefully. I love hearing new, talented, great people, special people. And my final final person I want to showcase is DeFord Bailey. DeFord Bailey was, he's a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame. He's a harmonica player. And when he was a little guy, a little kid or whatever, baby, he came down with polio. Or what they used to call infantile paralysis. And he was in his bed or his crib or something for over a year. And in that year, there wasn't much to do, so he learned to play the harmonica. Special thing about DeFord Bailey, he was the very first person to take the stage on the opening night of the Grand Ole Opry. He was very first to perform. Most of the stuff that I gathered, that I could tell, was largely instrumental. The most cited or most referenced thing he did was his telling of the story of John Henry. I also want to throw something out there. While my music, this channel pretty much stops at the year 2000, I just want to acknowledge that Darius Rucker moved over to country music a number of years ago. He's a black musician. He's very talented. I just don't want to omit him for any reason, but he's not in my time frame. So yeah, I just want you guys to know that there's there is some influence from black musicians, and you know, come on, Charley Pride, Ray Charles. You're forgiven if you don't know who the other three are, but you should have definitely heard of Ray Charles, and I'd be surprised, judging on what age you are, if you never heard of Charley Pride. So check these people out: Ray Charles, Charley Pride, DeFord Bailey, O.B. McClinton, and my personal favorite out of the group, well, maybe Charley Pride, my personal favorite, but Stoney Edwards. Super talented, great musician, really old sound. He's got that Daryl McCall kind of salt of the earth, like common folk kind of music. Yeah, so I hope this video was enlightening, and I hope that you learned something. Please subscribe and leave a comment below. If I forgot anybody, it was inadvertent, it was an accident. I didn't leave anybody off on purpose. I'm not counting, like, I think David Allan Coe has a black drummer, or, no, disregard that, that's a different story. I'm not counting, like, session players who, like, while they matter, I'm sure there's a bunch of them, because there's talented people everywhere. But these are some people I thought would really, I wanted to really showcase and let the world know about them. So that's it, guys. I just gave you a list of truly special people, truly talented people, different stories, different success, you know, ranges of success, and yeah. Omitting, like, these people, and I'm stealing this from a thing I saw, I had to do some research, would be like omitting Benny Goodman from the annals of jazz music. Benny Goodman, for those who don't know, is a white musician who was in a predominantly black genre, jazz. So you wouldn't do that. So I want to let the world know that, you know, these people made a significant mark in country music, and yeah, leave a comment below, guys. Subscribe, and if you want me to do a different video on something else, you got any good ideas, let me know. Nothing after the year 2000, please. While these new guys are certainly talented, they're, you know, it ain't the same. Okay. I've filmed this video like 3 times, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.